Where do your choices come from? When you lift your hand, when you decide to turn left instead of right, when you fall in love. Who decided that? Was it you? And if so, who is the you that decided? The one who thought the thought, or the one who noticed it? Most of us move through life with a quiet confidence that we're in control, steering the wheel, making the choices, shaping the path. But if we look closely, really closely, that control begins to dissolve, like a reflection disturbed by the ripple of a single drop. And what remains is awareness itself. Alan Watts, the philosopher, the storyteller of the inexpressible, often spoke of this strange dance between the self and the universe. He liked to remind us that we are not isolated minds inside a world. We are the world, happening, moment by moment, the same way a wave is the ocean, and the ocean is the wave. In his words, you do not come into this world. You come out of it. And perhaps nowhere is that clearer than in this illusion we call control. Think about the last time something didn't go your way. You planned carefully. You did everything right. But the world, as it often does, had other ideas. Maybe the train was late. Maybe the job fell through. Maybe the person you loved didn't love you back. We tend to meet these moments with frustration, as if life had broken some promise to us. But what if life never promised us control in the first place? What if that sense of control is a comforting story we tell ourselves, like a parent humming a child to sleep in a storm? Watts would say, it's not that you've lost control. It's that you never had it. And that's not a tragedy. It's a liberation. Think of breathing. You can try to control your breath for a moment. Hold it, deepen it, slow it down. But after a while, the body takes over. It breathes you. The heart beats without permission. The cells divide, the stomach digests, the skin repairs itself, all without any you to command it. So where does the boundary lie between what you do and what happens to you? When you speak, words come, but do you know what your next sentence will be before you say it? When you reach for an idea, does it not sometimes appear on its own, as if whispered from somewhere deeper? Control, it seems, is not a fact. It's a feeling. And like all feelings, it comes and goes. Eastern traditions, particularly Taoism, have long seen this clearly. The Tao, they say, flows through all things. To resist it is to suffer. To align with it is to move with the effortless grace of a river finding the sea. In the West, we often translate this as letting go, but that phrase is slightly misleading. It still imagines someone doing the letting go. The Tao doesn't need you to let go. It simply moves. The philosopher Spinoza, centuries earlier, said something similar in a different language. He saw that everything, every action, thought, and desire arises from the same infinite nature of reality. We may feel free, but our freedom is the understanding of necessity, recognizing that we are the movement, not the mover. And modern neuroscience agrees, in its own way. Experiments show that the brain begins preparing for a decision milliseconds before we become consciously aware of it. The choice appears in awareness after it's already been made. So maybe the self, this conscious me that claims authorship, is more like the narrator of a story that's already unfolding. Not the writer, but the voice that says, I did that. Let's feel into this for a moment. Imagine you're sitting by a lake at dusk. The air is still. The water mirrors the sky, silver, quiet. A breeze touches the surface, and tiny waves shimmer outward. You can't tell where the air ends and the water begins. Each movement gives rise to the next, a rhythm without a conductor. This is life. This is you. When we believe we're in control, we tense, mentally, physically, emotionally. We tighten around outcomes. We judge, predict, resist. But when we begin to see, not as an idea, but as an experience, that we are part of this unfolding, that control is not lost but unnecessary, something opens. It's like unclenching a fist that's been held too long. And in that release, we can finally breathe again. Alan Watts often used the image of music to explain this. When we listen to a piece of music, we don't rush to the end. We're not waiting for the final chord. The point of music is the playing. Each note arises and fades, not to reach somewhere else, but to express itself completely in the moment. Life, he said, is like that. It's not a journey from point A to point B. It's a dance. And the dance doesn't have a destination. You don't dance to arrive. You dance because the movement itself is beautiful. So when you're caught in the anxiety of trying to control the future, others, even yourself, remember, you're the dance, not the dancer. The rhythm moves you. The step reveals itself as you take it. Now, if we translate this into the language of the mind, what we call psychology, it becomes even clearer. Cognitive science tells us that consciousness is not a single thing sitting behind the eyes. It's a process, a flow of perception, sensation, and memory, continuously constructing what we call reality. And within that process, the self is a kind of story, a useful narrative center. It helps the organism navigate, predict, survive. But just like a character in a novel can't step outside the page to control the author, the self cannot truly control the unfolding of experience. It can only participate in it. And that participation, when seen clearly, is a kind of surrender. Not a defeat, but a dance. So what happens when we live from this understanding? We still make plans. We still act, decide, create. But we do so lightly. We stop taking the story so personally. We stop arguing with the tide. There's a saying, let go, or be dragged. But maybe it's not even about letting go. Maybe it's about noticing that the river has always been carrying you. And in that noticing, something subtle shifts. Life becomes less of a battle to win and more of an art to witness. Even pain, even failure, become part of the texture, not enemies, but movements within a greater harmony. You realize you are not falling through life. You are being carried. Take a slow breath. Feel the air enter. Feel it leave. Did you do that, or did it happen? When a thought comes to mind, do you choose it, or does it simply appear? When you feel love, when you laugh, when you cry, is that a decision or an unfolding? You see, the boundaries blur. And in that blur, in that soft dissolving of me and world, something timeless is revealed. The watcher and the watched are the same awareness, looking at itself from different angles. The wave, noticing it's the ocean. Watts would often smile when he spoke about this, not as someone who had solved life, but as someone who found it endlessly mysterious. He said that the moment we stop trying to control life, we start to feel it. When you stop clutching at the moment, you can finally touch it. And this touches everything: how we love, how we work, how we see each other. If we are not separate, if we are movements within one great happening, then compassion isn't a virtue, it's a natural recognition. To help another is to move with the same current that breathes you. To forgive is to let the river keep flowing. Imagine for a moment that you could completely control your life. Every detail, every outcome, every feeling. At first, it sounds wonderful. But think deeper. How long would it take before it became unbearable? You'd know what was coming next. Every surprise, every challenge, every unexpected joy, gone. It would be like listening to the same perfect note forever. No contrast, no rhythm, no dance. The beauty of life lies in its unpredictability, its spontaneity. Like jazz, it improvises. And so perhaps, the universe, through you, is improvising itself into being. The song is being written as it's played. So when you next feel the urge to grip tighter, to control, to fix, to make certain, pause. Feel your breath. Feel the ground beneath you. And remember, it's all moving on its own. You are not standing apart from life, trying to manage it. You are life, unfolding, here and now. As Watts would say, you are the aperture through which the universe is looking at itself. And in that recognition, control becomes irrelevant. Because everything is already happening just as it must. Sit with that. Let it echo, not as an idea, but as a quiet knowing. A kind of peace that doesn't need to be proven. This has been what we are. Thank you for listening. Until next time, breathe, watch, and remember. You are not apart from the flow. You are the flow, aware of itself.